Okay, now the recording has started. Let us start with the class. Am I audible to you, students? Reply in the chat window. Okay. Okay, thank you. So we are supposed to discuss till this slide we had finished, okay, in the last class. So now we are supposed to discuss plane equations. Okay, you know that a straight line will be governed by equation, a parabola will be governed by equation, a circle will be governed by equation. Like that, plane will also be governed by a equation. Each polygon in a scene is contained within a plane of infinite extent. Okay, every polygon will be present in a scene. The scene can be considered as infinite extent. So the general equation for the plane is ax plus by plus cz plus d is equal to 0. This is the general equation for any plane. So here x comma y comma z is any point, a point's x component, y component and z component. And the coefficients a, b, c, d, they are called as plane parameters or constants describing the spatial properties of the plane. Okay. So I repeat, ax plus by plus cz plus d is the general equation of the plane, among which x comma y comma z is the components of the point, and a comma b comma c comma d are considered as plane parameters. So now the question is how to obtain the values of a, b, c, d. Okay, we can obtain the values of a, b, c, d by solving a set of three plane equations. You know, right? You are familiar with solving simultaneous equations. Okay. Mm. So what we will do is we will consider non-collinear points in the plane for the three successive convex polygon vertices. You will consider any polygon, is convex polygon only you are supposed to consider. In that, for 3 points you will consider which are not collinear in a counterclockwise order. Okay, in a counterclockwise order you will consider. One first point can be considered as x1 comma y1 comma z1. Second point is x2 comma y2 comma z2. Third point is x3 y3 z3. Okay, in a counterclockwise order. That is also very important. And then what we will do is we'll solve the following set of simultaneous linear equations. That means what I will do, I will have three equations. ax1 plus by1 plus bz1 plus d is equal to 0. ax2 plus by2 plus bz2 plus d equal to 0. ax3 plus by3 plus cz3 plus d equal to 0. Then I will solve it. Okay, so I will solve it in the ratios a by d, b by d and c by d, because if d comes to this end, okay, that can be considered that way. So how do we solve it? Using Cramer's rule. So what is Cramer's rule? In linear algebra, Cramer's rule is an explicit formula for the solution of a system of linear equations. You are familiar with system of linear equations. How do we find the solution? One of the way is Cramer's rule. With as many equations as unknowns. That means if you have 3 unknowns, 3 equations. If you have 2 unknowns, 2 equations. If you have 10 unknowns, 10 equations, like that. But this Cramer's rule is valid if and only if you have a unique solution. So you may have 2 solutions, 3 solutions, 4 solutions, like that. If you have multiple solutions, this Cramer's rule doesn't hold good. So generally quadratic equation solve ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಎರಡು solution ಬರುತ್ತೆ. You have observed. Okay. So like that, simultaneous equations, when you're solving simultaneous equations also, you may have more than one solution. If your set of simultaneous equations is having more than one solution, then Cramer's rule doesn't hold good. Okay, so how actually Cramer's rule works? It expresses the solution in terms of the determinants of the coefficient matrix, and the matrices obtained from it by replacing one column by the column vector. Okay, I will show you in the next slide how exactly is the Cramer's rule process. And it's named after Gabriel Cramer, who lived from 1704 to 1705. So this exactly is the Cramer rule. So look here, if you have equations like this, um, as I said, we have three equations, right? Like this. This is general equation. If you replace x with x1, x2, x3, you will have three equations. So this is how we get the solution. Cramer's rule. Directly you can write this. So A is equal to, in the first column, all ones. Okay? Because A is multiplied by X, you can remember it like this. First column, all ones. In the second and third column, Y parameters and Z parameter. In B, second column will be 1, first column and third column will be X and Z. In C, first column will be X, second column will be Y, and third column will be 1. And D will be minus X1, X2, X3, Y1, Y2, Y3, Z1, Z2, Z3. This is the Cramer's rule. And using the expanding the determinants, you will get this. This is very important. Okay, given in the textbook also. So in the textbook, if you are using the fourth edition, it is in page number 62. Okay. So now, why did we learn all this about plane equation, solving for plane equation, using Cramer's rule? Why did we learn all this? To solve a problem. So what is that problem? When you are having coordinates defining a polygon, uh, they may not present in a single plane. You know that, like if you consider 3D, xy is one plane, yz is one plane, xz is one plane, like that. So the polygon may not be placed on the single plane. So what is the solution for that? I have to find, right, whether it is on the single plane or not. For that, the whatever the knowledge we have used till now in the plane equation, that will be used. So why do we use it? In order to find on which plane the actually the polygon faces are there. So three solutions are there for that. One is dividing the faces into set of triangles. Dividing the faces. So if you try to log in after time, it will be difficult for me because I will be in the other screen. I will not get the notification whether you are trying to log in or not. Okay, so dividing the faces into a set of triangles is one way, and then we could find an approximating plane for the vertex list. What do you mean by approximating plane? What we will do is we will divide the vertex list into subsets. That means vertex list of the polygon face. We have a polygon. We want to check whether it is on the same plane or not. For that, what we will do, we could find an approximating plane for the vertex list and divide the vertex list into subsets. Okay, where each subset contains three vertices. Of course, each subset contains three vertices, and calculate plane parameters A, B, C, D for each. Okay, what I am doing, I am considering the vertex list. Okay, among the polygon, you will be having n number of vertex. I'm dividing it to vertex list and calculating for each and vertex list subset A, B, C, D, and then averaging it and taking the average to know on which plane it belongs, all those things. It will help me to get the parameters, plane parameters, which will give you the spatial information of the polygon. That is one way. That is second way. The third way is project the vertex list onto the coordinate planes parameter A proportional to the area of polygon projection on the YZ plane, and A will be proportional to the YZ plane, B will be proportional to the XZ plane, and C will be proportional to the XY plane. Okay, so before getting to the next topic, I'll tell you what actually we discussed here. We discussed about plane equations. Okay, so this plane equation is useful for us in which sense? It is useful for in which sense means I have to make a decision while drawing the polygon in the scene, whether it is in XY plane, YZ plane, or XZ plane. In order to make this decision, this plane parameters would help me. Okay, so how do you find plane parameters? Using Cramer's rule, you can find it. Okay, so you have three way to solve the problem. That means to come to know whether it is whether the polygon face in which plane. One is dividing the face into set of triangles. That will also give you hint whether which on which plane it belongs to. Or second thing is, among all the vertices available for that particular polygon, you will divide into subset and you will find out ABCD for that particular subset and you will take the average of it. And the third solution is, we will project the vertex list in such a way that uh, onto the coordinate planes in such a way that parameter A is proportional to the area of polygon projection on the YZ plane. You will maintain that A is always proportional to YZ plane, B is always proportional to XZ plane, and C is proportional to XY plane. This will solve the purpose. Okay, so could you understand this topic? Reply in the chat window. I will repeat once again. So it is just we are learning about the plane equation. Why we are learning about the plane equation means, if you come to know about the plane parameters, you will be easily able to draw the polygon by keeping in mind that it belongs to which plane, whether XY plane or YZ plane or XZ plane. Okay, we will switch to the next topic, students. Next topic is front and back polygon faces. So just now what we discussed, whether the polygon face is in the XY plane, YZ or ZX plane, that problem is negotiated. Now to draw whether it is a front face of the polygon or back face of the polygon, that is one more issue we have. So this is very easy for us. We have this equation what we learned in the previous topic. Okay, so if it is behind the plane, this value will be less than 0. If it is in front of the plane, this value will be greater than 0. If it is on the plane, this value will be equal to 0. So very simple. Front and back polygon faces. Okay, how to know whether it is any point that is not on the plane that is visible to the front face of a polygon is called as front of the plane. Very easy, right? Any point that is visible to the back face of the polygon is behind the plane. So how to find out? You just put all the plane parameters and the vertex data. If the ax plus by plus cz plus d is less than 0, it is behind the plane. It is greater than 0, it is front of the plane. So here we have one unit cube. So what do you mean by unit cube? In x direction, y direction, and z direction, you have unit length only. We are having couple of lab programs based on this unit cube. Okay, right now let us concentrate on what is normal vector for this particular unit cube. So what is normal vector means, if the weaver is here, I am oning the slideshow. Okay, if the weaver is here, okay, he is weaving towards origin from outside to inside. Okay, then this is the surface he is weaving through. This is the surface he is weaving through. This is the surface, correct? Okay, so what is normal vector? We had already discussed what is normal vector. Once again, let us revisit. A normal vector to the plane is any vector that starts at point in the plane and has a direction that is orthogonal. Okay, this is the general definition of the normal vector, what we had already discussed. Now we are trying to find the normal vector for this view. So what is the normal vector for this view that we are trying to find out? So what is the procedure? You just mind the procedure, need not have to go with the points. The procedure is you will select 3 vertices in a counterclockwise order. Suppose this guy is seeing from this direction. Counterclockwise direction will be this one. This may be V1 and this may be V2 and this may be V3. Consider these 3 points and apply these points in these equations. Okay. In these equations, you just apply. And then you will obtain some value of A, B, C, D. Okay. Okay. So if you do that for this particular unit cube, you are going to get A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0, C is equal to 0, and D is equal to -1. So therefore, the normal vector would be 1, 0, 0. This is as good as just multiplying x, y, z with this. Multiply x, y, z with ABC. If you multiply, means 1, 1, 1 with 1, 0, 0 with ABC. That's what you will get. So 1, 0, 0 is the normal vector you get. So I'll repeat. We are considering the unit cube. Okay. So in the unit cube, I want to find the normal vector for this unit cube. Okay. So how do you find the normal vector for this unit cube? That depends on the weaving point. Suppose if the weaver is weaving from this place from outside to inside towards origin. So this will be vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3. This vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3 would be substituted in these equations to find A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0, C is equal to 0, and D is equal to -1, which will give us normal vector 1, 0, 0. So if A is having 1, it is 1, 0, 0. If B is having 1, 0, 1, 0. If D is having 1, it is 0, 0, 1 like that. Okay. So we will learn in future more about the normal vector. For now, you just understand. From the weaving point, you have to consider the vertices in the anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, and then consider those points and substitute in the equation of plane equation ABCD. And if you obtain 1, 0, 0 value, normal vector will be 1, 0, 0. If you obtain 0, 1, 0 respectively for ABC, then the normal vector will also be 0, 1, 0. If A is 0, B is 0, and C is 1, the normal vector will be 0, 0, 1. So you have other way to obtain this normal vector. Okay, so this diagram, what does it indicate? When you are weaving, how actually it looks. If you weaving some 3D object, the entire cube will not be visible, right? Only one surface will be visible. So this is the visible thing. That's what they are telling. Normal vector will be A component, B component, C component. So here we obtained A to be 1, B to be 0, C to be 0. Of course, normal vector will be 1, 0, 0. So you have one more approach to calculate normal vector, that is using the vector product, forming 2 vectors, one from V1 and one from V2, and the second from V1 to V3. Okay, using 2 vertex, you will have 2 edge vectors. Using 3 vertex, you are having 2 edge vectors, and if you have the cross product of that, we previously had told you how to do the cross product, you will have the normal vector. That is one way. And also the plane equation can be expressed in vector form using the normal n. So n into p will be always -p. These are the relationships. I'll repeat what we discussed in this front and back polygon faces. It is very much required for the user. It's very much required for the user to know, for a designer or developer to know whether it is the front face of the polygon and back face of the polygon. We can come to know about it using the plane equation. Okay. So using this equation, if the value of ax plus by plus ez plus d is less than 0, it is behind the plane. The point is behind the plane. If it is greater than 0, the point is front of the plane. And one more thing is we can find the normal vector using these parameters. How to find the normal vector and what is normal vector? So if someone is weaving from outside to inside towards origin, you will consider three vertices in counterclockwise and you will apply those vertices in this particular equations to obtain the values. So whatever the value you obtain for A, B, C, that will be the normal vector. N is equal to A, comma, B, comma, C. That is one thing. And the second thing is one more way is you can consider V1 and V1 to V2 to form one vector, V1 to V3 to form one more vector, and if you take the cross product, you will get the normal vector. And one more thing is plane equation can be expressed in the vector form by considering the normal vector. So this is the relationship for that. Okay. So that is all. So could you understand this before switching to the next topic? Next topic is very easy and repetitive. So before going to that topic, could you understand it? Please reply in the chat window. Okay, let us go to the next topic. I'm owning the slideshow. Look here, next topic is OpenGL polygon fill area functions. If you recall in the laboratory, how did we draw the rectangle? We draw the rectangle using 4 vertices using lines. But that is not always required. You can always use the GL rectangle function call, wherein you will give 2 vertex. One, what is this 2 vertex will do? You observe here opposite corners. Okay, it is actually opposite corners. Opposite corners. Okay, one corner of this rectangle if you give, and one more corner if you give, obviously you can draw the rectangle. That is one way. And polygon, GL polygon, look here, P1 is joined to P2, P2 is joined to P3, P4, P5, P6, and again P1. Okay. And what about triangles? If you give triangle, first 3 will be formed, P1, P2, 6 is one triangle, P3, P4, P5 is one triangle. You look here, he didn't give this in the continuous order, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. Then what happens if I give here P3 instead of P6? P1, P2, and P3 here. Okay. And then P4, P5, P6. Like this triangle would be drawn. Okay. So in the next thing, triangle strip. So here also you look. First triangle will be n is equal to 1 triangle. It will use first 3 vertex. And after using first 3 vertex, for the second triangle, the edge of the first triangle will be used. Look here. First P1, P1 to P2, and P2 to P6. One triangle will be drawn. Next, this will be used as the edge, P6 and P2. So P3, one more triangle. Next, what happens? P3 and P6 will be used as the edge. Here, P5. And next, P5 and P3 will be used as the edge, like this. The triangles will be drawn. So we may give this kind of code to you and we may ask you to write the output. For that, you should be having the knowledge. Okay. I will give GL, begin GL triangle strip, and I'll give set of points and I'll ask you to give the output. It varies when compared to the other primitives. So when it comes to fan, so look here. Again, the order is getting varied here because in order to like in whichever way we want, we can give, but it's just we are just giving it to ensure that the output will be very easy to write. Okay, so look here, P1, P2, P3. triangle fan. So P1, P2, P3, and again this uh, P4 is the next point. P1 and P3 is used as the edge. Okay, very much important. Which one will be used as the edge? But here you look, P2 and P6 was used as the edge, but here uh, P1 and P3 are used as the edge. That is the difference between fan and the strip. Okay, it's better we read this. For n vertices, we again obtain n minus 2 triangles, providing no vertex positions are repeated. If vertex positions are repeated, you will get different output. You should be careful that vertex positions are not repeated. And we must list at least 3 vertices be specified in the proper order to define the front and back faces for each triangle correctly. So if you take care of all these things, then you will get proper output like this. Okay. So the question will not be that much twisted. At least you should be knowing the difference between fan and strip. If I give same points to fan and strip, the output will vary, right? So look here, P1, P2, P6. P2, P6 is considered as the next edge for the next triangle. Here, P1, P2, P3, P1 and P3 is considered as the edge for the next triangle. Be careful about it. Next quadrilateral. So you can with the GL quads primitive constant and the following list of 8 vertices, okay, you will have, of course, 2 quadrilateral. Just like this here. In triangles, you had 2 triangles because points were enough to draw 2 triangles. Like that here quads, because points are enough to draw uh, 2 quads. Otherwise, what happens? The next of insufficient points are ignored. Quad strip. Okay, this was told. P1, P2, P4, P3 is the first P3, P4 is the first quad, and this will be P3, P4 will be used as the edge for P5, P6. Next P5, P6 is used as edge for the P5, P6, P7, P8 quadrilateral. Okay, these things you need to patiently sit and go through. Otherwise, it looks easy, but it is not as easy as it looks, and neither it is difficult as difficult it looks. You should simply make some time for it, and you should go through it. Okay, how exactly the fan is drawing, how exactly the strip is working, like that. So that if I give set of code, you should be able to write the output. Okay, we are done with this topic. Before going to the next topic, could you understand, students? Please reply me in the chat window so that in the next class we have very interesting topic, algorithm kind of stuff. In this class we have theoretical stuff. Okay, next let us move to the next topic. Fill area attributes. You can fill it the polygon like hollow style or solid style or pattern style in whichever style you want, depending by giving different instructions. Okay, so we could show the edges in different colors. You can give width styles. So many things are possible. Okay, you can use horizontal, diagonal lines. We call it as hatch fill and cross hatch fill if you have 2 lines crossed together. Okay, and this process of filling the area with a rectangular pattern is called as tiling. That's where we get the name tiles. Tiles, rectangular, like tiles what we use for flooring. Okay, and fill pattern sometimes referred as styling pattern also. Okay, and there are also hatch fill pattern, as I already said. Okay, hatch fill could be applied to the regions by drawing sets of line segments to display either single hatching or cross hatching. Okay, so possible filling. What is the possible filling? That's what we are telling. Depending on the various instruction, you can fill it. Okay, so next thing is important. Color blended fill regions. Okay, for color blended fill regions, it is based on the Boolean operation. So what do you mean by Boolean operation? You're already familiar with Boolean operation. You studied it in the lower classes, right? Or operation, AND operation, XOR operation. I will tell you how exactly it happens. So look here. Hmm. You think that there is two factors. There is two factors. One is foreground and one more is background. Okay, I should take the pen. Okay, foreground parameter and background parameter. Okay, you think that this is the foreground pattern I have and this is the background pattern I have. So how to blend it? You can blend it using ANDing. ANDing you can blend it. So what ANDing operation will happen? This pixel ANDed with this pixel. What happens? You will get a pixel here. 1, 1 is 1. And this ANDed with this 0. Nothing will be filled. This ANDed with 0 and 0. Nothing. Something and with nothing is again nothing. Okay. So this is that's how we can blend. If you AND it, this is the blending result of foreground and background. Similarly, if you OR, something is present here or something will be always something. Nothing or something is also something. Nothing or nothing is nothing. Something or nothing is again something. This is the ORing. And next thing is using XOR. So what do you mean by XOR? XOR will be highlighted if both are 0. Okay, here both are 0. This is working in some other pattern. Okay. Right. How XOR works? Let us recall. X, Y, XOR 0, 0 means 0. 1, 1 means also 0. 1, 0 and 0, 1 will be 1. So look here. This XOR this 0. This XOR this 0. But for 1, 0 and 0, 1 combination, we have these values. Okay, this is about AND operation, OR operation, XOR operation for color blending. And similarly, if you give replace, what happens? The background will be replaced by the foreground. That is, whatever the pattern you are giving, the background will be replaced by the foreground. Okay, before going to the next slide in the same topic, just could you understand whatever told here? AND, OR, and XOR and replace operations for the color blending of the background and foreground. Could you understand it? Reply in the chat window. Okay. So this is about the color blended fill regions. Next thing is, the next thing is very simple, but look here. The current color P of each pixel within the area to be filled is some linear combination of F and B. Okay. Current pixel's value is always some relationship between foreground color and background color that is governed by this equation. So you should remember this. Okay. The current pixel's value will be always t into f plus 1 minus t b. That means foreground is also playing some role. Background is also playing some role. And it is controlled by the parameter t. What is the t? T is the transparency factor, which will always have the value from 0 to 1 for each pixel. So if you have t less than 0.5, the background color contributes more. If you have the more than more than 0.5, then foreground color contributes more. Okay. So if our color values are represented using RGB, like pixel is having PRPGPB, foreground is also having foreground green, foreground blue, and similarly background is also having BRBGB RGB factors, then T will be PK minus BK, FK minus BK. That is transparent factor will be having the equation PK minus BK, FK minus BK. Where K is what? K is RGB factors. And we have one condition, foreground should not be equal to background. And two background colors are mixed with foreground. That means you are blending two background colors with foreground. Then this equation will be replaced with this equation because you have only one foreground and two backgrounds. Okay, then T naught F plus T1 B1 plus 1 minus T naught minus T1 B2. That means what? You are having two transparent factors, each associated with one background. Okay, so that completes whatever was planned for today's class. I just give the summary what we discussed. So first, we discussed about plane equations. Why plane equations are important? To draw a plane. So using plane equation, I can take the decision whether the polygon face is on which plane. And second thing is, using plane equation, I can take the decision whether it is a front face or back face of the polygon. And we also came to know about the normal vector by finding ABCD. That is, using this particular equation, by considering our view from towards origin. Okay, considering counterclockwise three vertices and putting it in this equation, we will be able to obtain ABC value. And through this ABC value, we can have normal vector. When you have normal vector, you can even express plane equation in the form of vector using n dot p is equal to minus t. And then we look at field area OpenGL polygons like polygon, triangles, triangle strip, triangle fan, quad strip, all those things. And also we came to know we can fill area attributes using hollow fill, solid fill, pattern fill, hatch fill, or cross hatch fill. And also we discussed about the color blending, depending on the pattern, that is foreground and background, using AND operation, OR operation, XOR operation, replace operation. And also we came across two equations when you are going to merge foreground with background for certain pixel, what will be the equation? And if you are having two backgrounds, what will be the equation? Okay, these things was covered in today's class. In the next class, we are going to discuss general scanline polygon fill algorithm. This is related to one of the lab programs. So in this algorithm, there will be much to understand. So in the next class, you better be with your notes, pen and paper. There will be lot many things to note down. Okay, I'll be, so you can enter your attendance if you haven't entered it. And if if your name is there, you have to enter your USN. Otherwise, if your USN is not there in your user ID or your email ID, it will not be reflected. Attendance will not be reflected. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you do not have any doubts, you can just enter and leave the meeting. I will be stopping the recording in couple of minutes. Then your attendance will not be recorded. If you haven't entered the attendance, please enter it right now and then exit the meeting. Okay, I'm ending the recording now. I gave enough time for you to enter the attendance.